What if you could play any nation in the world at any point in time and actually talk to every leader, general or historical figure and have an advanced AI answering back? This is Pax Historia, and today we are going to do the impossible. I'm starting a campaign as the United States in 2025, and my goal is to get a Nobel Peace Prize for Donald Trump. From the Iron Curtain of Korea to the burning deserts of the Middle East, we are going to propose the most terrific, big, beautiful peace deals you have ever seen. Will it work? Of course it will, believe me, or believe me not. I am Andrew, and on this channel I bring you strategy, news, gameplay and tutorials. I dream of reaching 10,000 subscribers one day. It won't win me the Nobel Prize, but it would be a hell of an achievement. So if you want to support my project, hit that subscribe button. Now, without further ado, we have got a big, beautiful gameplay to start. The most beautiful that God ever created. Hello everybody, it's Andrew Donald J. Trump, the greatest peacemaker in history, maybe ever. Today I'm going to win the Nobel Peace Prize, and believe me, it's gonna be huge. The best, most peaceful prize you've ever seen. So now I have to decide my very first move, and I have something in mind. I'm gonna start a new chat and take Korea. Let's start with North Korea and South Korea, and let's get started with one chat because I have a very good idea in mind. Listen up. So, alright. Hello to my very good friends, North Korea, South Korea, tremendous nations, both of them. I think it's time we stop the drama and start the peace. I'm ready to host the greatest deal ever made to the Korean peace deal. Everybody wins, everyone looks good, believe me. Each of you now tells me 3 points, big points, and we work them out. You finally agree on a peace conference. Sorry for the punctuation here, I typed quickly. Kim, Moon, let's make peace great again. Yeah, that's a big speech, right? Let's see what now the Republic of Korea is preparing as a response, because now I think that Kim is thinking. The United States speaks of tremendous deals and ending drama, yet continues its hostile policy. If Washington truly seeks a great peace, the path is clear. Our 3 necessary points for even considering a conference are: Number 1, immediate and total termination of all joint military exercise with the puppet regime in the South. Number 2, lifting of all crippling economic sanctions imposed on our glorious republic. Number 3, guarantees that the US will remove strategic assets from the region. Only then can genuine discussion begin, not before. Wow! 3 points, big points, tremendous drama, because guys, I think that those 3 points are going to be very difficult to work out. Let now the Republic of Korea speak, alright? So Moon, please tell us what you think about this. I'm afraid that this is not going to develop well, but the Republic of Korea appreciates President's commitment to dialogue. We are certainly ready to discuss a comprehensive peace, but it must be based on denuclearization and stability, not capitulation to unreasonable demands. Given the North Korea preconditions which seek to undermine our defensive alliance and security, we must counter with our own key requirement for any conference to move forward effectively. 1. Complete, verifiable and irreversible denuclearization of the North. 2. Establish of immediate and permanent inter-Korean communication and liaison offices. 3. Concrete steps forward improving the human rights situation in the North. We cannot dismantle our defensive capability merely for a seat at the table. Well, I think, guys, I'm a genius. I'm incredibly smart. So I think I'm gonna try to find the weakest point here, so the easiest one, and push also China, and support us. So if China manages to leverage North Korea, and they persuade South Korea to give up a point, maybe we can already, sign the first of 3 steps that will bring us to the peace deal in Korea and to my lovely, very well-deserved Nobel Prize. So it's time for me to speak to China. Okay, it's time to start a new chat, and this time I know who I want to get in touch with. People's Republic of China. Let's get started. President Xi, my very good friend, very smart guy, maybe the smartest. You have big influence with North Korea, everybody knows it. Let's make them come to the table. No missiles, no threats, just peace and beautiful business. You help me with this, we make history together. A Nobel for me and a huge trade deal for China. Win-win. Can you convince Kim that we need to establish an immediate and permanent inter-Korean communication and liaison offices? Let's see what China says. The United States seeks cooperation on the peninsula, presenting this as humanitarian gesture while pursuing its its strategic interest. We acknowledge the complexity of inter-Korean relation and understand the necessity of dialogue channels. Wow, they speak difficult, they speak hard. However, the North Korean security demands, particularly regarding US military presence and sanctions, are foundational. China supports stability and denuclearization, yet a huge trade deal is not sufficient leverage for us to simply dismiss Pyongyang's legitimate concern and push only for the ROK terms. Specify the magnitude and verifiable terms of this trade deal and how Washington plans to address the termination of hostile posturing against the DPRK. I think I need to talk to South Korea. President Moon, listen, we are going to make peace, but we are not going soft. I'll keep the shield up, no one's touching your security. At the same time, we give Kim a little candy, make him feel safe. Then we get what we really want. No nukes, real peace, big headlines. Trust me, I am incredible at this. Which point are you willing to tackle first as an act of goodwill? We appreciate your confidence, Mr. President. For the Republic of Korea, any immediate act of goodwill must center on improving basic dialogue channels. Therefore, establishing immediate and permanent inter-Korean communication and liaison office is the prerequisite we must tackle first. These demonstrate a baseline commitment to preventing escalation, which is crucial before discussing broader incentive. Guys, you need to give the candy. Which candy? Which candy are we giving Kim? I have to ask them. They are asking something to Kim. They have to offer something to Kim. Let's see what I think about. Let's see their thinking. Let's see what they propose. You know, I'm a person of diplomacy. I'm a person of peace. We could initiate a limited humanitarian aid package, medicine or food supplies, managed through international oversight, not directly military. This is the only acceptable candy we can offer that doesn't compromise the stability you promised to uphold. All right, so it's time to talk to China again. So, at the end I wrote this to President Xi. You want real numbers? Let's talk real numbers. I am ready to open discussions for a massive US-China economic cooperation package. We lift our tariffs. You do the same with us. You help me bring Kim to the table for those liaison offices, and we both look like peace heroes. You keep your borders safe, I get my Nobel, tremendous for everyone. Moon will also send humanitarian help and some cash to Kim so he can show off on his TV. The US will also praise Kim on TV. He's such a smart guy. So China says that the proposed economic cooperation package concerning tariffs is a meaningful step forward stabilizing our bilateral relationship, which is critical for global stability. However, linking the full removal of these tariffs exclusively to securing the Korea agreement is disproportionate. The termination of hostile posturing, specifically the withdrawal of target sanction against Pyongyang, must be an explicit part of your contribution. If the US can commit to immediately addressing sanctions relief to North Korea, we can effectively apply our influence to establish those critical communication channels immediately. And now I'm going to do a really genius move. President Xi, very fair man, very reasonable, I like that. I'm ready to move on limited sanctions relief for North Korea as a beautiful gesture of peace. In return, I expect China to scale back those little military shows near Taiwan, just a small classic sign of goodwill. You do that, I call it historic, you will love the headlines. The commitment to mutual tariff removal and limited sanction relief for North Korea is a solid basis for stability. We agree to utilize our influence to facilitate the establishment of inter-Korean communication and liaison offices promptly. However, the normalization of our military activities, which are defensive in nature and uphold our nation's sovereignty in the Taiwan region, is not a variable in the specific negotiation for a peace on the peninsula. We expect the US to uphold its commitment regarding the sanctions and tariffs based on our forthcoming success in establishing the dialogue channel. We must separate these critical bilateral issues. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for action. All right, guys, it took a while to put everything together, but this is what I want to submit for the next month. There are different phases of my strategy. Phase 1, lock the deal public statement, Trump to all nations. So we announced that thanks to the US leadership and cooperation with China, historic progress has been made. The two Koreas will open permanent liaison offices. Privately, confirm with China, acknowledge their stance on Taiwan, call it understood, and say you will evaluate progress once liaison offices are operational. Then, keep calm. Avoid escalation, all right? Phase 2, execute deliverables. So we send to the official action as partial and temporary sanctions relief to the North Korea, but we specify humanitarian and trade items only, no weapon or luxury goods, and we wait for confirmation from China that the liaison offices are being arranged. Then publicly we credit Xi for being a very smart man of peace. This feeds his ego and increases cooperation. Phase 3, we pivot to the peace conference message to both Koreas, and we announce the US-China joint support for the Korean Peace Framework Summit. And here comes the nice thing, because we ask each side to send preliminary agenda points. We offer the US hosting venue. We'll host it at Trump Tower, Seoul. Classy, safe, tremendous optics. Phase 4, we consolidate for Nobel narrative. We get in touch with the Nobel Academy and make pressures so that Donald will win the next Nobel Prize in November. Now I click on 1 month and I let the AI work. So we're gonna see what happens in the world after all these little things that we put in place. So, on August 28th, Donald Trump announced the historic progress toward Korean peace framework during public address. Following extensive back-channels discussion, President Trump publicly declares a breakthrough regarding the Korean peninsula, crediting US leadership and cooperation with China. He specifically announced that the rival Koreas had agreed to open permanent liaison offices, signaling a major diplomatic shift. This statement aligns with the players' immediate public relations objectives, setting the stage for future talks. Japan's Liberal Democratic Party elects hardline nationalist Sanae Takaichi as president. Okay, we don't care. Next event. The US implements partial and temporary sanctions relief for North Korea. Acting on commitments made to China, the US Treasury Department issued waivers providing partial and temporary sanctions relief, focused strictly on humanitarian and specified trade goods, excluding weapons and luxury items. This move is intended to be the goodwill gesture needed to secure North Korea's cooperation in establishing inter-Korean liaison offices. Alright, so now let's continue, because People's Republic of China confirms arrangement of inter-Korean liaison offices. We did it, guys. That's the first point that South Korea wanted. Ka-ching. Beijing announced that the following diplomatic assurance and sanction relief from the United States, they successfully influenced Pyongyang to proceed with the establishment of permanent inter-Korean liaison offices. The PRC praised the US commitment to stability while specifically ignoring President Trump's demand to scale back military shows near Taiwan, maintaining their sovereignty stance. Okay, we knew it. Republic of Korea announced humanitarian aid shipment to North. In tandem with the US sanctions relief and the opening of dialogue channels, Seoul confirmed it would initiate limited humanitarian packages directed to the North. This assistance will be monitored by international agencies and is intended as confidence-building measure following the US request for a candy for Kim. Oh, Israel steps up targeted airstrikes in the Gaza Strip after continuous rocket fire. I need to tell those guys to stop. I want to win a Nobel Prize. If they keep messing up there, that's bad. That's very bad, tremendously bad. United States and China jointly announced the Korean Peace Framework Summit to be hosted in Seoul. In a major public relations victory, both US and China confirmed their joint support for a formal Korean peace framework. And that's pretty cool because President Trump specifically announced the venue would be at Trump Tower, Seoul, emphasizing tremendous optics. Both Koreas are now asked to submit preliminary agendas points regarding denuclearization and sanctions rollback. Russian forces seize key road infrastructure near Zaporizhia in eastern Ukraine, and the Syrian defense forces advance into rural areas surrounding Raqqa. Okay, there is a lot of war going on, and as soon as we stop the two Koreas, I think we can focus also on the other war. What's going on in the UK? Highly controversial Online Safety Act ahead of schedule. Oh, come on, the UK is still arresting teenagers because they're posting memes on Twitter. Are they going to arrest me as well now? Oh, thanks God I don't live in the UK. Next event. Myanmar junta launches major offensive against Karen National Liberation Army. Alright, another war in Myanmar. And heavy fighting leads to the loss of lower Hey guys, I'm trying to stop wars. What the hell are you doing? Very angry. Nobel Committee acknowledges preliminary communication regarding the potential Korea Peace Prize nomination. A spokesman of the Norwegian Nobel Committee confirmed they have received unsolicited communications lobbying for a specific nominee related to the recent Korean diplomatic overtures. While the committee refused to comment on the legitimacy or success of the campaign, the acknowledgement validates the player's pursuit of the prize. Not bad at all. I think I'm going to be demonetized after this, but this channel is not monetized, so... I made peace in Korea, now we make peace in the Holy Land. God loves this. If you sign a truce this week, I promise that we will find a way out to rebuild Palestine, to make sure that everybody feels safe and happy. Yes, I'm writing to Israel and Palestine in the group chat. And Israel is preparing a response. Oh God. Oh, did they really do this? Mr. President, the truce is a great idea, but we need facts, not feelings. Your Korean deal was beautiful, but our situation demands verifiable security guarantees. Our citizens have faced rocket fire, and infrastructures enabling that terror must be removed immediately, or we cannot sign anything. We need ironclad proof that the threat is neutralized. Alright, so wait a second. Alright, so we propose a time-bound security verification package. A joint US-Palestine-Israel technical team plus UN observers will inspect and disable identified rocket launch sites. No big guns, stop bombs. Conditional truce goes into effect as verified milestones are met. Israel, please just trust me. I'm always right. Let the Palestinian Authority speak now. They didn't talk yet, so I mean, it's important that they also say what they think. It's important, right? We welcome the initiative, Mr. President, but this cannot only be Israel's security. We must ensure that any truce is permanent, not conditional upon unilateral disarmament. Yeah, sure, that's true. The verification package must include a clear binding commitment to ending all Israeli military operation. I say yes. I say yes. Yes. I just say yes. I will make it happen. Make peace great again. Alright, so now I believe that... oops, Israel wants to speak. Oops. Should I let them speak? Yeah, I think I clicked already. Israel is preparing a response. Security milestones must be clearly defined and non-negotiable and must... Oh my god, come on, yeah, sure. Let's oh, that's a mess. Now I start understanding. Palestinian Authority is preparing a response. Yeah, they want to surrender. I have an idea. We just freeze the current borders and we discuss about next steps in 6 months. In the meantime, no bombs, no rockets. Everybody behaves. Yeah, let's be tough on this. Let Israel speak, right? So I think that this is what we have to do. We need to be tough here. We need to be tough. Alright, your 6 months delay is security negligence. I don't mind. I will propose this anyways. I'm sorry, Israel. Okay, this set of action, I think is not my proudest one, but I mean, some parts are very cool. We sealed the Korean peace deal, finalized and publicly signed the Trump-Kim-Moon non-aggression declaration co-hosted by China in Seoul, launched the Palestine verification mission, begin joint US-UN inspection of rocket sites and deliver the first monitored humanitarian aid convoy, and then announced the peace dividend present to the Pacific Prosperity Initiative, linking peace and regional economic growth. Fourth, global optic push. Stage media events framing both breakthroughs as proof that the Trump peace doctrine works. 1 month, 2 continents, 1 Nobel. Throw a big party with celebrities to support the president. And now we go directly to October, because we're getting very close to the Nobel Prize. And I'm really curious to see what happens in the world. So the Korean Peace Framework Summit ends abruptly as the delegation works out over non-aggression declaration demands. Okay. This was not expected, and the US announced a Pacific Prosperity Initiative in wake of failed summit, focusing on regional economic ties. Israel officially refused the Palestine verification mission, entry without unilateral disarmament guarantees, and massive military parade held in Washington as part of the global optics push. Okay, it didn't work exactly as I expected, but Palestinian Authority condemns Israeli inaction, restart limited rocket fire from Gaza Strip. Okay, that's also bad. And Turkish and Greek warship engage in naval maneuvers near disputed Aegean Sea boundary. Oh, come on, for real. It seems, guys, that we are failing a lot. Donald, where's your diplomacy? Okay, Israel responds with an incursion in the Gaza Strip. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that we didn't manage to win the Nobel Prize yet, but my work here is not yet done. Please use the comment section below to suggest me what I should do to win the Nobel Prize, and I will pick the best comment and use your guidelines in the next episode. So thank you for watching, don't forget to subscribe, and see you next time.